Howdy, today I'm going to show you how to auto-populate columns that are in a sheet that's being fed from a Google form. So basically when someone submits a new form, a row is inserted at the bottom here, you want these columns to automatically fill in as indicated. I've chosen some common operations needed for schools, such as displaying a full name, calculating an age, and then reading differential. Now we're going to solve this with array formula. There are other solutions. I do think array formula has some significant advantages. However, one of the disadvantages is that it can be difficult to understand, hence the point of the video. So to show you how array formulas work, I just want to do kind of a little bit of manual work. What I've got here is I've got two sections. I'm going to focus over there. And this is a multiplication timetable. And this is calculated with an array formula. As you can see, I have an array formula with a range from A2 to A, B, and another range B2 to B. So I'm getting the result that way. I want you to notice that one of the confusions with array formulas is that if I were to change it to that, it doesn't expand, because the whole point of an array formula is that it can expand when you give it a range as such. Another thing to notice is that in the case where the array formula has one of them, a range that has a series of numbers, but the other one does not, there has some behavior that you need to notice. And that behavior is that it takes the first value of the B2 and it fills it down automatically all the way. So that means that for the B value here, for this column, is going to be 1 all the way down and across. All right, because I forgot to put that little figure there. Now, this is a series of numbers, and this is a value. An array formula needs a series, and it does operations on series. In this case, it's doing a times operation. Right? The other thing about array formulas that's necessary to understand is that the logical operations are quite different. I have here a truth table, so A, B is true, 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 false, 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 true, false, false. And here is a simple formula using a manual method of entering this and then filling down, and I get a truth table. Now this is A and B, but this is done with array formula using the AND. And when I change these values to series, I'm expecting to get them to fill down, and it does not. The reason why it doesn't is because AND is a logical formula which is not able to fill down for us automatically, so it simply uses the first value and fills it down as it did over here. So it doesn't work, and this is going to be an issue. However, there is a workaround. It's actually not even a workaround. It's actually the way you're supposed to use it. And the way you're supposed to use it is that with logical operations, you don't use the AND formula. Instead, you use something called binary logic, where true is 1 and false is 0. If you do an times operation on it, you will get the equivalent. 1 is being true and 0 being false. All right. Another thing about array formula is that it does fill all the way down, and a good trick to prevent the filling down all the way is to use an if statement. Even though you can't use and or, you can use if. And the best way to use if is if you try to use the formula length, you fill in a range that represents places where you want to fill in, it represents the range that you want to check to see that it's blank or not. And if the length is greater than 0, then go ahead and calculate it. Otherwise, leave it blank, and that will get rid of the overflow issue. Okay, so that's the best way for that. So going back to, and finally, the other one I want to show you is something with the row formula. So with the row formula is very useful for lots of different things, which I'll show you in a second. But I want to show you what row does. It outputs the row number, and if I use array formula on it, without a series, it just does a single value. If I do the series, then it will go all the way down by row by row. And so that's what row does. All right, let's go back to this problem. How are we going to get that to work? Well, the way we're going to get that to work is I'm going to go to the second row, and I'm going to try to enter the array formula. I'm going to check for the length of here. is greater than 0. And if it is, I'm going to combine the two. And I've done it. The ampersand is a string concatenation trick, and it worked. I used the same as before. However, what I did, I had to put this into the second row, and I want to figure out how can I do that into the second row, to the first row. The trick is to use a row like this. So when I undo, I get the original formula, and I remember how it went. So if I have an if statement here, and what it does is it goes through, it subtracts the row number from itself, which means I'll have everything starting from 0, moving on up. In other words, this area will read like this. Okay? That means I can use an if statement in order to display something special in the false area of the if statement, like here. And in the true area is where I want to put the value in the rows below. And I've used an if statement to check for the length of the column has something in there, so that I know I want to continue. And if so, I do the intended operation, leaving this blank to take care of the overflow. And that's how that works. So let's put in a new, let's go to our form and put in a new entry. First, last, putting a new entry. Reading to 5. Alright, submit it. And when I go back, I will see that it will automatically populate as intended. And it works. Works great. That's it. Thank you.